Hi there, I'm Noah Bradley. This is Handmade House TV, and on today's episode, I'm going to share with you the details of my house plans for my future lake home. So stay tuned. Well, all right. Once again, I thank you for tuning in here to Handmade House TV. This is going to be a really good episode for you. It's an important episode for you. In particular, if you haven't already signed up for the Handmade House Academy, which is basically an 8-hour course in how to best create, design your future home. And I show you how to pull out the drawing board and create the plans for your future home. That's what I did for my upcoming lake house, and I'm going to share with you what I came up with here in just a few minutes. Not only how I did it, but also why I did it. Clearly, there's only so much I can say in a 10-15 minute video here on YouTube. The Handmade House Academy is 8 hours long, so I would encourage you to at least consider that before the creation of your plans. It's very important when you want to design your future home that you do as much of the effort in creating the plans as possible before you approach an architect or a draftsman in order to help you finish up the plans. 90% of the homes I've built, maybe 95% of the homes I've built, I've drawn the plans myself, complete from beginning to end. It's not that hard of a process. It's just a step-by-step going through it. And the homes I've created have been amazing. They've been phenomenal as a result of it. But on a few occasions, I've had to go to an architect in order to refine the plans, to make them appealing to particularly fussy building inspectors before they'll give me a permit. They want to see more details on the plan. Or a lot of times on larger homes in particular, I really struggle with room layout in order to get everything as smooth as possible, where all the doors are opening and to make the most efficient use of space. So that would be my first thing for you. And that's what I did is I sat down and I started doing a lot of the hand drawings myself. And I ended up going to an architect, one that I had used before in the past and had a very good experience with. And he was tremendous help in creating a finished set of plans that the building inspector loves. And but I think that part of the reason that I did it was that I wanted to share with you all what a finished set of plans looked like, what your typical builder sees when they're looking at a set of plans, and so that you can use it as a pattern when you're creating your own plans if you want to make them look as professional as possible. If you choose to not do any of the work yourself, if you want a house and you walk into an architect's office and you just randomly say, I want a house, maybe 3 bedrooms, nice kitchen, you're not going to end up with your dream home. The more effort you put into creating your plans before you ever approach an architect, the more likelihood you're going to end up with a home that is your dream home and not the dream home of the architect who you've just visited. So that's very important. So that's exactly what I did. Is I created the set of plans, and how I created the set of plans is, first of all, like always, I really spent a lot of time on the site. You want to design a home that looks like it fits the site so that it improves the site. It makes the whole site more attractive. If you look at some of the scenery out mountains in the Midwest or whatever, and it's just trees and a pond and mountains in the background, it's relatively a pretty boring painting. But if you look at a painting with a cute little log cabin setting on that lake, you've improved the whole painting, you've improved the landscape, and that's what you want to do too. You don't want to put something on there that's ugly. What you're doing is you're uglifying that particular property for perhaps a century or more, because that house just doesn't go away. And you want to be able to bless your neighbors. You want to get the most resale value of your home. So you want to make your home as attractive as possible. I always design my house from the exterior first, and then after I get the exterior, then I start cutting up the inside into the rooms that I want to create on the inside. If you start out with just a floor plan, you're trying to connect little boxes together, and then you say you want it to look like a farmhouse when you get it done. It's not really going to look like it. So what you want to do is start something that looks like a farmhouse, if that's what you want, and put it and draw the outside, draw all 4 elevations. Get it so that it's very appealing house. Elevation is a face of the house you see. Front elevation is this front of the house, side elevations the side, and back is back. So start out with your elevation. So what was the elevation that I wanted to? In the last video I shared with you that all of my neighbors have built standard stick built construction homes, nice homes. I'm not going to diss on any of them at all. But so I really felt that that's what I should do in order to blend in with my neighbors, with the community that I'm in, is create a stick-built house. And there's a lot of other advantage to it, as I pointed out to you in the previous video. And I won't go into all those details, but that's what I'm going to be building is a stick-built house. So the next thing that I came up with in order to create the home is that I want to build a lake house. I managed to buy a piece of property that's lakefront. It's a really sweet little wilderness lake, and I want to build a house that is a lake house. And what is a lake house? A lake house is a house that you would see a picture of just the house or the plans of just the house and without the lake there at all, and you would say, wow, that house looks like it belongs on a lake or a river or maybe even the ocean or something, but it looks like it belongs near water. It looks like it looks like a lake house. And if you just take any subdivision house, any typical plans of a house that belongs anywhere else, and you plop it on a lake, it's not a lake house. It's a house that sits on a lake, and you're not blessing the community or you're not making the lake look any better by plopping a standard mass-produced set of blueprints house out on the property and everything else. So I really want it to look like a lake. And so what does one visualize when they think of a lake house? Well, first of all, a log cabin looks good on a lake. But again, I've eliminated the log cabin for this particular project. I want to show you guys how to build a stick-built house. Stick-built is one of my 4 favorite types, and it's also one that you will probably use a lot of the techniques of it when you build a log cabin, or when you build a timber frame, or when you build a stone-built house. So this one's stick-built. So when you think of a lake house, for me, what I think of it is, first of all, a lot of porches. I really think of wraparound porch, one where you can be outside, where everybody is motivated to come outside, hang outside. A lot of laughter going on, a lot of activity of people going out to the lake to fish, to paddle around or swim or what have you, and maybe cook out, have a picnic table out there where you can dine. And porches are wonderful things. They pull you outside, they get you outside. And then the second thing about a lake house is what I picture is first of all is a real interesting roof, probably a metal roof. Would look best on a waterfront. I just think of a tin roof in particular. I don't think I would go with anything as fancy as, say, a copper, and I don't think slate would be a little bit too rich looking. And asphalt shingles they just won't make it. As a matter of fact, in this set of plans, I had the architect actually do it with his little computer simulation, do asphalt shingles on the roof, and it didn't look good whatsoever. Now, one of the things about it is whenever you think of a house on water, you also typically think of shingles for the siding. And I don't know why it is, but whenever I go to ocean or whatever, about a third of them I see have these shingles for this outside of it. And it's a unique look. It's a really cool look, and it's also a look that I've never done before, which kind of motivated me to do that. And so for the lake house, I thought that I would try to at least spatter some diversity of siding, not make the siding consistent around the house, but try to break it up and make sure that some section of the house has those shingles in it, which gives you a little bit of that water frontage flair. And okay, so then the next step that I did, and this is what I encourage you guys to do in the Handmade House Academy, is that you start looking for inspiration. One thing you could do is to go out to a lake, rent a boat, and cruise around the lake and see what it is. But again, I think what you're going to find when you start doing that is you're going to find a lot of these people that plopped non-lake houses onto the frontage of a lake house, and you might not get the feeling you want. So what I typically do is do a Google search for a lake house, and I started perusing through all of the photographs and everything else, and it seemed to be that there was two kind of consistent houses that kept popping up as far as as far as looking like a lake house, and they're a little bit diverse. And this one here that I'll pop up, let me show it to you. Was actually I've posted an actual photograph of this particular house where it was built by someone, and it's amazing the number of reviews that came back, and that it was a very well liked post with a lot of comments. A lot of people saying, "Wow, this is my dream home. How much I would love that!" And it's because of the simplicity of the look of the house. It has a low pitched roof on it. It's very simple. It's very quaint. It looks like it's about the right size. If I were to guess the particular size on this house, it's about, I would say about 1,500 square feet, maybe a little bit less than that. 1,500 is really is one of those pivotal, magical square footage numbers. And a lot of the houses of the 1960s, the house that I grew up, a little brick rancher, was about 1,500 square feet. My first home that I built for myself when I was 20 years old was about 1,500 square feet. Generally about half of that, about 750 square feet, is the smallest house you can build and still be a functional home for one or two people, maybe a couple with a baby, but boy, you're really stretching it. And of course, 750 was probably what a lot of those families of the past had a dozen kids in. So you can make do with 750. 1,500 is a fairly comfortable, doable home for a small family. It's getting a little tight for a larger family. But in today's society, that really 2,500 to 3,000 is really about the ideal size of a home for a family. And that's because we have so many diverse rooms we want to put into a home. For me, one of the big things is an office, is a home office, because I have been self-employed for the last 40 years of my life. And so I do a lot of work from home. I do a lot of reading, a lot of writing, all my phone calls. It's where I keep all my records, it's where I draw my plans, it's whatever. So an office space is very important for me. And, and people nowadays, they put a little room for the TV, and they put a little room for exercise equipment. And before long, it doesn't take long before you end up with about 3,000 square feet. So what I did when I saw this particular house was I said, that would be a good size house. That would be a doable house at 1,500 square feet. It's cute. It would be inexpensive to build on the lake, and it would be a very doable home to live in. But I wanted to go ahead and design the home for one of the things that I encourage in the Handmade House Academy is always plan for your future, because you don't want to build a home that's you can't add on to. You want to think about what the future addition is. So you always want to draw your ideal home. You want to create your ideal home, what it is. And if you want to build it in two sections or only build one section and never get around to that section, that's fine. But you want to think about the ideal home. So if you're thinking that 3,000 would be your ideal home, then that's what you want to start out with, is 3,000, and then ideally you can figure out how to cut it in two. And so I decided that this particular structure would be half of the home, would comprise half of the home, and maybe I would build that half, or maybe I'd build the whole, don't know. And so I continued to look on Google for other homes that would look good on a lake, and I came up with this particular one. Really really appealed to me a whole lot. It's a rather elaborate home. It's a high-end home. I can't say that I really like the pointy dormers on it, the triangular type dormers. It's just not my style. And I can say that when I was trying to draw the roof line of this house, which it's kind of cool. I really like these the hips on the roof, and also the low-pitched porch that wraps around the home. I found it very appealing, but even when I was drawing it, I kept struggling with trying to get the pitch of the roof just right. It's amazing how a few degrees taller or a few degrees shorter just ruins the effect of this particular roof. It really needed to be right, and I must admit that I was really struggling with it. And so I came up with these two, and I started creating the elevations around the house, all four sides of it. And remember, one of the critical elements of designing a home and getting the four elevations right is first of all, you're shooting for a home that's attractive from all sides. And so many new homes are created with the front to be attractive, and the back is just horrific. You might as well put a billboard up for the attractiveness of most the backs of most homes. So I really tried to do my best to create attractiveness on all four sides. It never fails that one side is the least appealing of all. And no matter how hard you try, it's really difficult to get a house that's attractive from all four sides. But I think I hit a home run. I think I did pretty well on this particular thing. And one of the reasons why I decided to go with an architect is not only to help me figure out all the stuff and to get the room layouts right and to get the building permit as cleared as easily as possible, was that I wanted him to be able to create a three-dimensional images of the home so that I could share that with you. And first of all, because we don't see a house from one side of it, it's important to create all of the elevations. Frequently, if you are handed a set of plans, you're going to be seeing the front of the home just in the straight on shot. But homes are three-dimensional objects, and always we see. It's very rare we see just one face of it. Often we see two faces of home. Never do we see three, but we often see two. So we see it in three dimensions, generally from corner to corner. If you ever notice car ads, you'll notice that they always have a picture of the car from an angle, so that you're seeing the front of it and one of the sides of it. That's because frequently that's how things are most appealing. But whenever you look at plans of a house, you always just see one face of it. It's very curious, isn't it? But anyway, so I created the three. So first of all, let me show you the four sets of elevations that I ended up with by combining these particular two structures together. So here we have the entrance side of the house. This would be the side facing away from the lake. This is the side that you will encounter when you drive home, when you walk in the front door and you announce, "Honey, I'm home." This is the side that you will see, and you can see that I use the quaint little cute lake cottage to greet you with there. Most people will, when they design a home and everything else, they want to create you with the one that the street front is the most impressive. It's, look how much money I have. Look how great I am. Look at this majestic home. This is where you put the big stone columns on the front that go 2 stories tall and really say it. But for me, I always like to, be it ever so humble, this is where I live. I like to come home to a cute little home, a cozy home. And so I really like the appeal of this. And if you notice, when you get to the house, there's a porch roof you can immediately get under before you enter the house, so you're sheltered from the rain. There's these wonderful cedar shakes that are going to go above on the second floor that will make the second floor that much attractive. Notice over to the side here how I'm going to put board and batten siding, just a taste of it on this side of the house. Well, all right, so let's walk around to the side that would be to the left, that when you enter, and you'll notice that there's a porch that runs the entire length of the house. Over in this particular section, we're going to screen the porch in, so we'll have a little bit of a screen porch area where we can set out at nighttime and enjoy the lake and the sounds that we hear out there without any worry about any kind of mosquitoes destroying the atmosphere and the enjoyment of the outside. All it takes is one mosquito at nighttime and you've got it. But one of the joys of living on a lake, particularly on this side of the lake, is there's a constant breeze that comes off the lake, and any moving air at all pretty much eliminates any kind of mosquito threat. And to date, I've yet to see a mosquito on my particular lake property, which I'm very pleased with. But this side of the house is just, to me, it really hits a home run. And you can see that on the right side, we have the little, cute little cottage going on, and to the left side we have the more elaborate lake house here, and then we have a connector area that connects the two houses together, and that pretty much a divider line can be put down through the middle of this house anywhere. and half of it can be built at one time and half of it the other. And to be honest with you, I'm still a little uncertain on which direction I'm going on, but I'm leaning toward doing the whole house at one time. Constructing the whole house at one time overall is less expensive and less intrusive upon your life. But if you're building your house as you go along, a lot of times building a house one step at a time can often work out. And if I may go down one rabbit hole, and I promise I won't do this too much. When I was young and I built my first home at the age of 20 that I said before, and it was around 1,500 square feet. It's amazing the number of impressed people there were with me in my life at that particular time. It was, wow, you built your own home? That's just amazing. You know, is your father a builder? No. Have you ever built a home before? No. So there was a lot of people impressed with it, and I was rather stunned one day when someone came up to me and they said, "I heard you built your own home." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Yeah, I'm building my own home right now as well." He was about 5 years older than I was. He pulled out and showed me photographs of what was going on. And he had already been working on his house as long as I had been working on my house to completion. But in looking at the pictures, it became obvious all of a sudden that he was building a much larger house than I built. He was building one between 3,000 and 4,000 square feet. And I was like, wow, how did you do that? You know, that's an awful big house. He said, yeah, I figured while I was doing it, I might as well do it all the way. And he did end up finishing that house, and it did turn out amazing. And from my perspective, I thought, you know, I really was kind of sad when the construction of my house ended, because I really enjoyed the process so much, and that I would have loved to had more time to keep on building, and that I realized that by making it bigger while you're doing it, it really is cost effective, and it really wouldn't have been that much more of a hardship for me to have built the house larger. And in hindsight, I might, if I had known what I knew, I might have gone back and done it larger in the first place. So there's no absolutes there, but this is for you to consider. Oh, and let's take a walk around, and we'll take a look at the side that actually faces predominantly the lake. You know, I do have the house turned a little bit so that a couple of sides of the house face the lake. The side we just saw and this face here. And again, you can see that there's a lot of porch looking at you. There are some, there's one of the rooms here is the kitchen that looks out, enjoys it. The dining room that looks out, enjoys the lake. There's also a little exercise room that looks out, enjoys the lake, so you can be exercising and enjoy the view of the lake. And of course, the master bedroom down here on this one end is here. With its own little private deck that you can walk out and enjoy the lake, privacy, you know, nice quiet little, drink your morning tea or coffee and enjoy watching the fish jump out of the lake, or the fishermen trying to catch that particular fish. So it really appeals. And the dormers upstairs, I had the option of either creating a second floor on the home, or using these dormers up here in order these dormers to allow light to come in to fill this room much more with light than it was. And that's what I decided to do. I'm going to make it a little bit of a tall ceiling in this particular area, right inside in the kitchen area, to make it, you know, more of a lake house feel there. And so let me share with you the three computer-generated 3D angled views of the home. And we'll pace around here and we'll see what it looks like. And overall, I'm just really pleased with it. It's not what I traditionally do. It's not the American standard, been building this for several centuries type of look. But it does look like a lake house from, say, the 1920s, 1900s maybe 1930s. So it has a vintage look, but it's not the historic log cabin look. A log cabin would not look attractive to this particular thing. Now, a little bit of stone could be implemented, but I'm going to try to go with zero stone here because of my natural tendency to do too much stone. So she's going to be just a basic house, and I look forward to sharing with you step-by-step constructions of it. Now look, I haven't announced this to the guys in the guild yet, but in the coming days, in the next week or two, give me some time. I intend to post this set of blueprints in its entirety for you to use whatever capacity you want to. For the guys in the Handmade House Guild, there's 3 sets of log cabin plans that I've drawn there, that I've built beautiful homes from, that are part of the package of being in the Handmade House Guild. But this will be my first architectural, engineered set of plans that I've ever shared on there. Cost me thousands of dollars. But it's there for you to use as a guide in creating your own blueprints, and also is so that when as I said, we're about ready to break. We're gearing up for it. I've got the application in to get a permit. The process is started, but I would like to share with you in the coming year the step-by-step process of building this house, of how to be an owner builder, to be your own contractor. And it really would help if you had a set of blueprints to look at as we go along, so that you got a good grasp of what's going on, and you can get access to that by becoming a member of the Handmade House Guild. You can learn more about that by coming over to handmadehouses.com. And I think that shares all that I can share today here on this episode. And again, I just want to express my thanks for you guys tuning in here every week. It means a whole lot to me. It's kind of fun sharing all this stuff with you, and it's my opportunity to share with you live going on. And one of the things here I was trying to close it up, and I keep rambling on. One of the things that I really wanted to do in this particular house is I want to show you I don't want to show you how great of a builder I am. I want to show you the mess ups, the flaws, the struggles, the problems that I'm having. I'm working in a county that I've never taken out an application to work in before. I did do some work there before, but the permit was already obtained by the owner when I got there. So I haven't gone through working in this county. I'm applying as an owner builder and not as a professional builder, which means I'm under greater scrutiny than a professional builder goes. I'm going to be working with subcontractors I've never worked before, never met. I have no idea who some of my subs will be as we move forward here. So I'm really kind of showing you more of the human scale, not the wow, everything is going really great. It's just this is how things went. I'm trying to share with you how things are going. So as we go along and actually see the problems, now, you won't have the problems I'm having, but you will have your own set of problems. And if you see how I get through it, it's often just a question of persisting, of pushing against the wall, of trying to figure out how to bust through that thing and get to the next wall crisis there. So this is a set of blueprints. Get your piece of land, get to know your land, spend a lot of time on it. Start doing some drawings to create your own set of plans. Move the process along as far as you can. And then if you need to or want to bring in an architect, that's when you bring it in. All right, that's it. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll see you here on next week on Handmade House TV. Bye now.